Hi, we are live now, he says. We have the full group together.
Together again.
Miss Victoria Pendergrass
Hey,
hanging
y'all.
out. And Mr. John Pope.
Hi.
And myself, Chris Gazdick. Finding you on August the 7th, 2025 for the YouTube Live. We fire up on about 6:15. We're a little late today. Hey, we got a major announcement. Again, second show in a row that we have a major announcement to make. More on that shortly. But this is where we click in live before you find the shows on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all these places and whatever. We also have a confrontation of you, John, for the show. Here in a little bit. Yeah, we have a correction that was delightfully given to us. We're going to have fun with it.
What was the announcement last week?
Adam Cloninger has his last month in review. Yep. So we do have a replacement. I'm not ready to announce it yet, but we should be fine, ready to fire up here at the end of the month with something yet another thing.
Something.
But no one actually could replace Adam.
No,
Yes,
of course
no,
not.
Adam, we love you.
So
of course not.
this new person will be unique.
He will be unique. It will be another transition. That is what we do, you know. So what else do I say? I guess it's the YouTube Live version. So I don't say anything else.
You usually give the three questions in the topic.
Sometimes. Grief sucks.
Yes.
That's the topic.
Love hurts.
Are you going to bust out in multiple songs today, John?
Love hurts. Yeah.
The three questions, Victoria. What loss are you still grieving? Not something that people tend to think about. And how does it affect your daily life? How do you feel when others say things, at least, or, hey, time heals all wounds? I hate that one.
Yeah, I do too.
Ugh. Time heals all. Not. That's foreshadowing.
Punch.
Not. And then thirdly, what small act of self-care could help you today amidst grief? So, should we do the announcement on the YouTube Live for the YouTube Live people?
No.
No?
They can wait.
Yeah. Is it a tough announcement? That seemed a little bit edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seemed to have an edge. Well, we already live. So you mean live. Let's go live.
Live. That's what we got to call it from now on. Live.
Live. Ready. Hello, this is Chris Gazdick. You have found Through a Therapist's Eyes. If you're finding us for the first time on any of these platforms, we do a YouTube Live, fire up about 6:15 on Thursdays. Great way to interact with us, touch base with us. Hey, we have a major announcement to make here in a moment. And then we have, in a moment, it's anticlimactic, I know. I'm trying to get Victoria in on this, man. We're letting her adjust to the moment.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Which we have the whole crew back together again with a weird summer schedule. Miss Victoria Pendergrass already said, hey, y'all.
Yeah, we almost had Little Man join us for a minute there.
We had Lucas hanging out, didn't we?
Yeah.
That would have been fun. We should have been brave.
We should have been done the live during that part.
Out on some level. And then we have Mr. John Pope hanging out with us. How are you?
Hi.
Mr. Neil Robinson behind the curtain. This is Through a Therapist's Eyes, where you get insights directly from a panel of therapists and personal time in your car or your home, knowing it's not delivery of therapy services in any way. The three questions on the show, episode 322, Grief Sucks, is what loss are you still grieving, which people don't think about that a lot, and how does it affect your daily life? 2, how do you feel when others say things when you're grieving, like, at least, or my favorite hate phrase, what is it, Victoria?
Time heals all wounds.
We hate that one. Ugh. Thirdly, what small act of self-care could help you today amidst grief? So, got the book out, Through a Therapist's Eyes, 2 of them. I haven't been talking enough about them. Go buy them. They're great.
Definitely.
Through a Therapist's Eyes.
They're also very aesthetically pleasing on your shelf.
The
They
eye
are.
looks cool.
Yeah.
The eye looks cool.
Yeah, I can't decide if the blue eye or so the blue eye is for the first book and the green eye is for the second book.
Yep.
I can't decide which one I like better.
Well,
I
I
like
find
the
it
green.
interesting that the marriage one is green.
Yeah.
Like
like green for envy?
Yes. And of course
Look, we're on the same page.
I was thinking green for growth. Green for growth.
Green for envy.
Contact at throughatherapisteyes.com is a great way to interact with us. We get your feedback, your input, which we got this week, John. Pope,
Yes.
we have a correction. I loved this.
See, I'm going to correct the corrector.
No, you're
No.
not.
Yes, I am.
Really?
I am.
You're not allowed to correct
gosh.
the corrector.
Okay, go ahead.
If you can, you correct
I
the
will try.
corrector.
Okay.
So on episode 322, we have Frank say, hey, Frank, we got his
Hey, Frank.
He dialed in for episode 320, except paired with cheerleading. Acceptance paired with cheerleading was the topic. So he says around the 9 minutes mark, John, a reference was made to the 80s song, John. And if I'm correct, he says, about the reference, it's Mickey, not Ricky. The song you're referring to is Mickey by Tony Basil, released in 1981. The
In
lyrics,
Spanish.
Oh.
In Spanish originally. Okay.
the
Go ahead.
lyrics include the line, "Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine, you blow my mind." Hey, Mickey.
Ricky. Hey, Mickey. Okay.
So is it Mickey
Okay.
or Ricky?
Ricky,
Mickey.
because Weird Al Yankovic did
Oh, you did. Oh,
a
gosh.
satire.
Yeah.
Old Ricky.
He
Oh,
did.
really?
Yeah.
Is
did,
the
yeah.
original Mickey?
Yeah.
So no,
Um,
you caught me. I was
Speaking
thinking my brain was saying Mickey, but my lips were saying
So you were on the reverb and he was on the original.
right.
Weird Al was just in Charlotte like not too long ago. And
No,
had a
I missed
concert.
that.
Yeah.
Weird Al is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it, Frank. You were right, but he was wrong, but he was also right.
Also,
John
if I
was
would have
also
been
right.
in that, I would have already corrected him
Okay.
because
You know.
it would have been corrected
Yeah.
in the
Instantly.
moment. In the
okay,
moment.
so we didn't have the full panel that
yeah,
day.
no, yeah.
John,
So-
how about you give the big announcements?
The big announcement is that I've been blessed. Joy and I've been blessed with lots of family down in Florida. We're both kind of grew up there, and we're originally she's from Massachusetts and I'm from Kentucky, but we spent much of our childhood and youth in Bradenton, Florida, and adulthood. So we have family there. My parents are, my dad is 99.
99 years
incredible.
old.
And they live by themselves, and my sister is having trouble a little bit, having to do this herself, and my brother has a lot of issues, health issues, and so Joy and I are going down there and just to move back home, and we're going back to a place called Bradenton, Florida.
Where the
And,
Pittsburgh Pirates play their
Yes,
preseason
that's right,
baseball.
exactly. And so
And we
March,
have made a pact. I'm coming down.
right. You are.
Yes,
and,
sir.
So it's and we've got 4 bedrooms.
Where am I in this invite?
You're in
Well,
this
we
invite.
can all go down to see the
Okay.
Pirates play baseball. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah.
We'll do an annual live show at the Pope residence. Maybe.
Yeah. Yes,
you
maybe,
could-
maybe,
you
maybe,
could do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Victoria's
so-
in. Neil,
You
I'm
could,
in.
You could do it at my
Oh, Neil's
brother's
down.
stately
All right.
mansion.
we got
So
something
that's,
going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You gonna have all the mics and stands and everything, or are we gonna have to bring them?
oh,
I
he's
mean,
got.
we can carry him. My
we can
car's
carry.
big
We
enough.
can carry.
That's
Okay,
good.
okay.
So I look forward to, but I'll be joining you all weekly on video, Zoom,
Virtually.
virtually.
So this is the
Teams.
saving grace. We're very pleased that John is going to be able to continue working with the Through a Therapist Eyes. As a matter of fact, this is going to be your only professional, I guess, major focus. Is that a
Right.
true statement?
That is a true
You're
statement.
kind of semi-retiring. it
I
with this
am.
deal.
I am not being in a church anymore, and that's going to be. It's stressful.
Yeah, it's a lot on you.
Yeah, the church I currently serve and have is my last Sunday is Sunday. Is they're selling their properties, and it's kind of bittersweet, but
Mhm.
and it's bittersweet leaving you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway,
I cried when I read your email.
thank you.
And then when I first saw him, I don't know if he told you this, when I first saw him in the office after he sent that email, I gave him like a bear hug.
No.
No, you know what she did?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was like, finally. Look, now we can
She is
tear,
not
She said,
clapping.
"Free at last."
now
free
we
at
can
last.
tear down the
Thank
wall
God
in my office and
Almighty.
make our
Not.
office bigger.
And now I might be able to sing to her.
Oh,
Yes,
gosh.
you could do
no,
that.
No.
Oh, is that a no? I'm still not getting a
I
no.
will call John
You'll call John
so
to
that he
get the
can
singing.
sing to me.
All right, listen. I've said some nice things before. I feel like I've said them on the show, but I guess not. Was
You
it just
did.
email? Why did we do that on the show?
I don't know.
Did we? We didn't already announce this.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so this
think
is
you did.
the last one. Maybe we did.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. I guess I'll just suffice it to say, it's actually really special. I mean, I know you
Thank
said
you.
you've lived on multiple continents and moved around the
Three
world,
continents.
through the states.
That's
lived in
insane.
three.
That's just really cool to be able to
Yeah.
go back
Moved.
home.
Well,
You're
I was
going
in the
back home.
military. Moved as a pastor. Like, it's got to be at least 12 times.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Now we're going back home. So that's just special. I can feel that being a West Virginian.
Yeah.
And I've always thought it'd be cool to retire in
You
West
accidentally,
Virginia.
you accidentally did your emergency thing, and they called.
Oh, they called you?
Literally,
It's an emergency.
Mount Holly 911.
Okay. If they call me back.
We got a 911 intervention for all of this, man. Well, we'll move
Okay.
on. That's the
Yeah.
topic. Feel free to sprinkle in the thoughts, the senses that you have. I kind of coordinated this month a little bit along these lines. The next week will be how do we deal with transitions and stuff. So there's
Perfect
a lot
timing.
of I figured it was some things that we could do. And honestly, so this show, Grief Sucks, is a show that we've done on the show before. But there's I'm gonna add a couple of things probably.
Okay.
Longtime listeners of the show can kind of keep track. We don't renew hardly any content, but we've gotten to the point where Spotify and different podcast platforms only go back like 100 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
noticed when I first. Yeah.
So grief is one that we've definitely covered before, but we're gonna add it to the sort of in different angles, different pieces for sure. But I'm just picked up on the history of our show that we're gonna have a few more. Like we do moral courage, we do EFT and all that kind of stuff. You got to go deal with 911.
Yeah, they're going to arrest me.
911's coming for you. He's got to go deal with this. Oh man, that's
Watch
awesome.
thing. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually done that before too.
What?
I accidentally held what wasn't on my watch. I accidentally held down the emergency button.
Oh,
I
it happens,
put
yeah.
my phone in my cup holder upside down, and it was just the not right enough pressure.
I've come close
that
and I've done
it-
the cancel.
And then I had 17 missed calls from my husband and my mother, who were listed as my emergency contacts when it sent them help. I'm in distress.
So Victoria, why does grief suck and why is it necessary? What is this grief thing?
Why does
how
it
do you
suck?
handle grief? What is it? Yeah, man. Why grief sucks and why is it necessary? What's going on in your
Well,
just
I mean,
random
you
thoughts?
mentioned one thing about transition, and grief is a form of transition, and so like people hate change.
Yeah, they really don't deal
I
with
mean, and
change well. I
when
hate
we-
change.
And I think that like I know probably today we'll look at grief mostly as like the death of someone.
No, we most certainly will not.
But it is, well, if you would let me finish. I was gonna say that it's
One
more.
more?
It's more than just the death of someone
Yeah.
or the passing of someone. It is like the loss of a friendship, the loss of a job, the loss of anything.
Concept.
Anything. Yeah.
Loss of an awareness.
Yeah, loss of like a belief that you've been taught your whole life. Like it is a very wide concept. I don't
And
know the
people
word
don't
to put
realize it. Like honestly, I grieve my kids leaving home. I mean,
Yeah.
empty nesting is hugely grieving, and people realize that.
And you've
but,
gone
like,
through a lot of transitions.
Yeah, I may have. I
recently.
may have. Thank you for that. So I mean, it's like it's so
Yeah.
broad. It's so
Even
broad.
for me, the loss of a single life, of like a non-kid life, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And it's not to say that I
You choose getting married, but you lose
Yeah.
from being single.
Yeah, but like, or it was just me and my husband for a while, or my husband and I for a while, And it's not that I love my child, but it is still a process of like grieving. Okay, well now who am I after I've like given birth and blah, 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 all the
I
things.
very clearly remember our last pre-kid date.
Yeah,
So she was pregnant, got a limo, went down to a play, had to leave the play early. The limo
Yeah.
driver was pissed. We were upset. He was like, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Sparkling grape juice in the limousine and
Yeah.
all. It was the
Yeah.
because we were losing our,
Yeah.
non-kid
I mean, that's why a lot of people do like a baby moon.
Yep.
They
Yep.
go and enjoy time away before, because as I talked with a client today, that after you have children, if you go somewhere with your children, it is not a vacation, it is a trip. It is a trip to the beach, a trip to the mountains, a trip to Disney.
This is true.
It is not a vacation.
Not a vacation.
Until your kid is like 6, I don't know. Y'all have older kids. 16, maybe? then you can start to maybe enjoy it a little bit more,
You get a little bit of that. You get a little bit of that.
But yeah. Especially with my 3-year-old. Yeah, we're not going on vacations unless it's just me and my husband.
Mm-hmm.
It is
and they're few and far in between for a lot of times. So here's something I want to focus this in on that I think is really important for people to understand about grief.
Yeah.
Is very much, I like to think of it as a kissing cousin to depression.
Could be, yeah.
So if you think of all the symptoms of depression, what are they?
Loss of interest in things, sadness, most of the day, nearly every day. Loss
of appetite.
Concentration issues, suicidal thoughts,
irritability. Right. And how many of those do you experience with grief? Do you ever think about this, Victoria?
Yeah, probably like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of the parallels?
Even the suicidal thoughts and
Can be.
self-harming thoughts or thoughts of death. Because it's not just suicidal thoughts. It's just thoughts of death, of recurrent death. Like
morbidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you ever thought of the correlation between grief and depression? I'm curious.
I don't think, not intentionally.
Yeah.
I haven't never been like, oh, this is these are connected or these are basically the same. But I can see it. Like,
interestingly,
it's not surprising.
You'll find over your career to come, still a little maybe early to get so much repetitive statements. But you'll find the phrases, the statements that you make. This is one for me that I've said many times over the years. Grief is a kissing cousin to depression.
Yeah.
And then I go on to explain, what you're experiencing is literally exactly like what people that experience chronic depression go through.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. You're crying, you're tearful, you don't know why, emotions are very labile, all of the other things.
You're not interested in things that you're usually interested in.
It's depression.
Yeah.
These are the depression symptoms.
Yeah.
So it's really, grief, they think of it and talk about it as like not just a loss. I mean, it's a whole body experience to where, the whole freaking thing is kind of going on where your body hurts. That's what they say with depression, the commercial. It hurts. It physically has pain.
Right, yeah.
And so all of the other things that kind of go along with it, it's a full experience. Mind, mood, body, spirit, the whole 9 yards. Everything's involved.
Oh,
so first of all, we got feedback from Frank. Frank says, that was funny. Funny.
Okay. Yeah.
So are we back from the 911? What happened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they didn't come out after me. I just made sure that
you wanted to take a look.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure it was canceled.
The long arm of the law was on its way.
Yeah. I don't know what caused it.
I did. You probably had your wrist bent where it was like pressing it for an extended period of time.
Let's stay moving. So
okay.
I haven't really thought of this a whole lot, but when you're talking about, John, why grief sucks, what it is, why is it necessary? Have you all thought of grieving or grief events as like small trauma events?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You have? Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got done talking, John. I look at grief as being basically depression. They're kissing cousins. So I never really thought of it in a trauma sense. I really haven't.
Really?
Because I'm so stuck on depression.
Oh,
That's where my brain always goes.
Part of my like intro assessment when I see people is I get to a session where I ask about like abuse and victimization, and then I ask about like trauma.
The trauma question.
But I kind of break it up.
Do you?
And most people, without prompt for me, most people will say, yeah, the death of someone, the grief of like, I was there when someone died. I was there, like I witnessed, I was there with them when they got sick.
I found my grandma
through the hospice, and I came in from home one day and someone was, on the floor or something like.
I was second on the scene with my sister. So, I mean, it's funny because I have heard that, and people do bring that up on their own volition, and I always write it down under the trauma section. But it's funny. I never really correlated it. I correlate it way more with depression.
I had a client whose son was killed in an accident, which was preventable. And she was a very religious person, and she literally had cardiomyopathy as a result of it, broken heart syndrome.
Oh, I've been into that lately. I've had a couple of clients and some personal experiences, with this whole broken heart syndrome thing. We've talked about it on the show before, but that kind of trips me out, John.
Yeah.
That trips me out, man. It's even being a therapist, it's kind of amazing to me. one of the things is my mom. I truly believe my mom, who is a dementia patient now on a memory care unit, the death of my sister, we believe, caused, I believe now, caused that. That
It just pushed her off the
yeah,
edge.
man. I have a hard time conceptually believing that, and even knowing what I know, man. It's wild.
With PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, there's several good books, many good books that have been out. I think it was brought to our awareness during the Iraq-Afghanistan military actions. And
Did you go back to Vietnam?
well, yes, it goes back. It actually goes back to the Civil War. It's
Well,
called-
obviously, but where we began to realize it more.
Yeah, it was Vietnam. It's when they started.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There was a movie called Coming Home, and it was about a veteran that had was paralyzed, and it was one of the people that was taking care of him. She got involved with her. Anyway, there was also this wounded person that was wounded internally and emotionally with PTSD, and he killed himself.
Yeah,
as a
oh
result.
boy.
So that was bringing that into attention. That came out around 1979 or something.
So that's
like
where
that.
it framed your mind.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And there's
It's funny
a good
if I
book.
could just interrupt, because I start with trauma when it's a traumatic event, and then move to grief after. But when it's grief, I don't think trauma when it's clearly a grieving event. I just I'm backwards. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will adjust
There's
that.
there's a good book called The Body Keeps Score. Are you familiar
Yep.
with that?
Oh yeah,
Vander
yeah,
Kolk?
that's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's he's Dutch, but it's the author, but he's done a lot of research in post-traumatic stress disorder and grief reactions. People that they actually have physiological reactions to their grief and to their trauma, and so the body never forgets, and so it's a process where a person starts to heal.
See, what's funny is that material I apply in my clinical brain to trauma, not so much grief.
Yeah.
I'm learning, I'm growing, man. So now I'll have that.
I think
definitely
they're
a little bit
I mean, I've
Fine.
literally lent that book out to people, to
Yeah,
clients.
have you? Yeah, it's
actually,
really
a
good
client of
material.
mine has it right now.
It's
It's
a
not
very.
in my. It's not on my bookshelf. It's
I hope you get it back.
I know. I never do that.
Um,
I never do that, John.
the last person that had it for about a year.
Exactly.
So doesn't
Exactly.
have to very often, but
Okay, let's move on, because there's a lot with this topic of grief. I really, really, when we talk about why it's necessary, why do we hate Victoria? If that's a too strong.
No, we
of a
don't
word.
hate Victoria.
No, we don't hate Victoria.
Yeah,
It's not what I
geez,
said. Nobody
whoa.
email in on me on that. I said, Victoria, why do we hate, if that's not too strong of a word, the phrase "time heals all wounds"?
you might have to, I don't want to make this episode explicit, so it's a bunch of bull crap.
We'll keep
Like-
it family friendly.
Yeah, it's I don't like. I mean, it's just because it's not accurate.
Right.
Like,
I love your nonverbals here. It's so
yeah,
awesome.
it's just that and also when you're grieving, no matter what you're grieving, that's not the crap you want to hear.
Yeah.
I just lost someone, or I just lost something, or I just
Another one of those are I
like-
understand.
Yeah, and I'm like,
You just don't. You can't.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, my thing is I've said
please,
1,000
my
times. There's
thumbs.
another one of these phrases where I've kind of worked out. Like, time heals all wounds is just a farce. It's really unfortunate because it sets up unrealistic expectations. It takes time to resolve things, or
Oh, yeah.
it takes a little bit of time to compartmentalize them and numb them out. Time doesn't do anything. You're doing one of those two things.
Yeah.
And one is bad, one's good.
Yeah.
Not right, not wrong, but one is really healthy, one is really very potentially destructive. So this whole idea of avoiding or shortcutting your grief, that leads directly to feeling disconnected, to feeling numb, to feeling just what's the word I'm looking for? Dissociated, you know?
When I was in doing clinical pastoral education in a hospital setting, one of the chaplains there facilitated a group, and he called it Good Grief.
Yeah.
And
Good grief. It's a cool phrase.
Yeah, good grief is a cool phrase, but he was talking very much about what this topic is about.
Yeah.
It's you don't avoid the grief. I think if you try to bury it, it will come out some other way, and it will cause other issues.
Right.
Yeah, other harm.
Yeah, other harm, physiological and emotional, relationship.
And you know what's funny? I think that a lot of people kind of get got with good grief. To use that phrase, I've never used it. I may steal that from you, because like you were saying, Victoria, you know, when we're talking about what happens with grief, I mean, you know, you have a child and you grieve the loss of being single when you're married, or you know, kidless when you're are already married. You know, it's like you want this change.
Yeah.
But you're grieving the loss that resulted from making this change that you chose. I think people feel like, I'm not really allowed to be sad about that.
Right. Yeah. I chose to keep this pregnancy and follow through with it. And I chose to stand up in front of whoever you believe in, and friends and family, and, you know, declare my vows to this person. I
can't grieve this.
Yeah.
But you need to. Because otherwise that comes out to play. You know, I heard years after, obviously many years after, my wife had actually made the comment. She's like, I really think we should have stayed in West Virginia after we got married for a little while. I think that would have helped a lot. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, good to know.
Never knew. You know, right? But it does make sense. She was
Mm-hmm.
going through something, never really resolved it or dealt with it, and it came out that way.
Well, and then that's the thing.
Many
though,
years later.
You know, I think it just is I'm always talking about a recipe for resentment, but like, yeah, I think it does. That's where it can lead to, if you don't deal with the grief.
Right. It's just, and there's another thing we'll talk about, layering. Well, I guess I'll throw it in now. Do you guys think about this conceptually? If you can imagine grieving, so you come across a grieving event, and then what do we do with trauma? Well, we do a trauma line. And we experience, like, well, what kind of losses or traumas have you had in addition to this one, so you get a full picture. Do we think about that with grief? Because I don't know that clinicians as much think layering or multiple grieving events that go into this current grieving event.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because
maybe it's just common sense, and I haven't heard many clinicians talk about it.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if I think it just depends on also like the client. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it would make sense because, like, say I lost someone a year ago, and then I lost another person, or I lost another thing like 8 months ago, and then I lost another thing 6 months ago. Like, if I haven't originally dealt with that first grieving, or is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Then, like, the one that came 8 months ago, then now you're adding that to it.
Yep.
And then I still haven't grieved either one of those things. And then the third one comes along 6 months ago.
Now you got
and
a percentage of the first, a percentage of the second, and the fullness of the third.
Yeah.
And on and on
and
it goes.
none of it is resolved.
Right.
You know, none of it is like being dealt with.
And it all comes back up.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you experience.
I lash out. I push away friends and family, those that love me. I, maybe start getting into bad habits, or
like, this is
like
really
bad
important to
skills,
understand.
You know?
We have a client that is having nightmares about his father, and I'm going to speak louder, okay? But
he tends to go low, John or Neil.
All right, he's having nightmares about his father. He was very estranged from his father, and he said, "I don't grieve about him. I don't miss him, but
right,
because he had killed himself.
Oh my gosh,
his father, and his father keeps coming into his room." And in his dreams, and confronting him, and he's having a real struggle with that. See, it's going to come out.
It does.
In so many different ways.
It's almost, would you call it inevitable?
I think it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
I would
Mhm.
agree.
We're wonderfully made. I mean, we are magnificent creatures.
Humans.
Humans are, and we don't do magnificent things a lot of times, but we're very complex,
Mhm.
and there's so many shades and nuances into who we are.
Right.
And I think that we have to have an environment where people can be open about their feelings and their thoughts, or a sense of anger, betrayal, feeling guilt. If somebody dies and there's a part of you that feels like, wow, that's actually good for me, and yet you might feel guilty about that, and that's
It's another
gonna do
factor.
complicated grief.
Yeah.
Well, complicated. Yeah, there's something called complicated bereavement, and I feel like that's what we're talking about with the layering.
Yeah.
You know, and I've thought of that for years. I've talked about that, you know, with people and helped them understand exactly what Victoria, you and I
Yeah.
just went through. Because honestly, what it really amounts to when you're 54 years old and you have a loss, let's just say, I don't want to say somebody died because that's just too easy. Let's say we're really attached to John and he's moving and leaving to Florida, and we start feeling a lot of feelings about
And
that.
I start singing "Goodbye to You."
Oh,
Goodbye to you.
Oh, my goodness.
Goodbye to you.
Neil, cut his mic off.
Look, he's trying to make me cry today.
Yes, he is. Because we will feel feelings from that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
if we're not really aware, at 54 years old, we're having a grieving event that we have 100% of, but we literally have probably, 60% of loss number one when you were 10.
Yeah.
How much percentage of graduation when you grieved, losing the
Leaving
transition
your- or
into
leaving your
adulthood?
small
Okay, so that's a
town to-
good thing.
Well, it's a good thing. It's good grief.
Good grief.
But there's energy of sadness
Yeah.
that builds up
Yeah.
from number 1 to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
overflows.
7,
Yeah.
8, 10, 12. And you're 54 and you're going to feel a percentage of all of them if you're not resolving them as you go.
Yes.
When you resolve them, you've let go and you process and you're literally free. I can prove that to people. I like to prove to clients, have you ever watched children at a funeral? You've seen them all the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
John.
Yeah.
What are the kids like? They're amazing.
They're amazing. Yeah. They're very real. They're very there. They're
Yeah.
yeah. They're, and it depends on how old they are.
It does.
Yeah. it
The younger,
does.
the better.
Yeah. They,
I get questioned all the time, like, should I take my kid to the funeral? And I'm like, oh,
Yes.
yes.
as a
100%.
minister, I would say yes.
Yes.
Definitely do that, because that.
You know what? They're going to teach you how to grieve.
Right.
Literally.
And, they could even laugh and
They're
play.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like crying in a puddle in the corner because mommy's not going to wake up. And then I want to cook. I'm hungry. Can we go eat? I'm so hungry. Yeah, I'm going to play with my friends in the back of the church and we're going to throw a ball. And then I'm going to come back in. And what do you mean she's still sleeping? Oh, I'm sad again. It's just so free flowing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The whole spectrum of emotion. with
Well, and I
children.
mean, and I know I've said this before when we've talked about grief, but like to me, it's also the whole idea and acceptance of that, like, grief doesn't shrink over time. We get bigger, grief stays the same size. So we grow around the grief.
Oh, I
Like, the grief
that.
is always there. And then I actually recently had a client tell me that they read or heard or were doing something where they were like, well, the grief has always been there. It was just love beforehand.
It was love with what?
Like, no, it was just love beforehand. Like, it was love before it turned into grief.
Oh, okay. I like that
Yeah.
conceptually.
But also,
So you pair them together, the two could be true at the same time?
Yeah, but also, like, I mean, we grow around grief. Grief stays the same size. Like, it doesn't shrink as time goes on and heals wounds or
Unless you're
whatever.
resolving it.
But no, it's still there.
Well, okay.
Like-
What I mean, we're probably saying the same things in different ways, I
Yeah.
bet. What I mean is that the intensity level goes down.
Yeah, you go from crying every day to, like, you can think about them and you smile to yourself and you think about, oh, that was such a great thing, whatever it was, or whoever it was, and then we can move on throughout our day. Yes.
You can
without it.
never get to letting go enough to where you get to 0.
Yeah, no, there's not such no.
But you can get down to 10.
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting around 80 or 100, that's just chronically painful. And you have dreams, and it comes out in all the things we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, like, I have I've mentioned this before many moons ago on here, but like my best friend was killed, and this December it'll be,
Oh,
what is it, 2025? This December it'll be 15 years. Like, there's not a day
Oh, wow.
that goes by that I don't think about her.
Wow, yeah.
But I might have some spells every once in a while where I like feel super emotional
Still
or
there.
whatever, and I still cry. But like when she crosses my mind at some point or multiple times every day, like it doesn't ruin, like it doesn't hard stop my
The
day.
intensity isn't there.
Yeah, like I still miss her, all the things.
You were
But, like-
you were quite a bit younger too, so you
I was
were
a senior in high school, yeah,
senior in high school, and so you were a teen.
which was weird. I graduated 15 years ago.
Mm.
Well, I was going to say you were in middle school, but
Thanks.
but that is, things are so intense,
Yeah.
particularly during your adolescence and all of that. So
Sticks with you.
Sticks with you. It's in,
It just has more content.
yeah.
More emotional energy. Yeah, Victoria, my litmus test for a resolved emotion is that when you feel the intensity of the emotion like it just happened later on, that's clearly unresolved.
Yeah.
But it's also unresolved if you have little to no contact with the emotion from when something first happened. A resolved emotion is when you feel a gradual decline over months or, years, right? Where it gradually, every time you touch it, you let go of a little bit of it. Because you're feeling it. You're allowing it to be present and a part of you, as you say, John, part of the nuance of what makes us our experience, us, right? And so when you re-experience it later on, it's just a whole lot less intense, but it's the exact same emotions. That's important.
Good points.
The tapestry of your life is that you were able to see the knots on one side of the tapestry, and on the front you can see the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And so there's that sense that sometimes when you're initially grieving, all you could see are the knots and the pain and all of that. But the beauty of processing your grief and age is the grief's still there, but you turn the tapestry over and you see the beautiful patterns.
Yeah.
You see it in all its richness.
Well, if you're agreeable, I didn't ask you, but John, I would say, my own experience right now, with you going to Florida. California.
Dreaming.
Going down to California, I see the knots. Like we're recording with you for live for the maybe not the last time ever, but it's not going to be the norm
until spring training.
Hearing you sing to Victoria in the hallways, which I'm not evidently going to be allowed to do. Those are the knots, right?
Yeah.
Like, John's not going to float in here like a fart on the wind when a client comes and leave, and I'm going to knock on his door and he's not here.
Yeah.
I know he's not going to be here. It's like, those are the knots, right, Victoria?
Yeah, no. I'm going to miss you bringing weird snacks and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it's a
So, yeah.
strange tomato drink or something recently.
I was
Look, no, those Mexican sodas.
Yeah, they're Mexican sodas. Is
I
that
drink
what you
almost
call
all of
them
those and gave a lot to clients, but these are so good.
And the ice cream bars, John, they killed me.
Hey, I brought those.
Oh, you
well,
did?
you brought the keto-friendly ones.
Right. I did.
I brought the ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, okay. Well, that was your fault then.
Yeah, well.
But those are the nuts, and the beautiful tapestry is how beautiful is it that you're going to be able to be with us. We transition into video meetings, which I think we will enjoy the fluidity with, and and we're going to do some fun things, and we're going to have more of your attention and focus on Through a Therapist Eyes.
Yep.
What a beautiful tapestry going home. So I love that. There's knots. You turn it over, and there's the beauty landscape. Change.
Yeah. Change is hard, but change is inevitable, and it can also be very good.
That's partly why.
Changes.
Do it, Victoria. It's partly why.
Bowie.
It's partly why grieving is necessary.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely necessary.
Well, because
Yeah.
Okay, one more concept. Go ahead, John.
I'm just saying right now, because I am moving, we've been so busy and everything happened so quickly. The selling of the house and buying of the house, it all happened in one day, basically, for us.
Lightning speed.
Yeah.
Lightning speed. When we got what we wanted, but I hadn't been able to process it. And so that is something that will hit me probably when I get holed up down in Florida.
It's an interesting,
Yeah.
really interesting point. Victoria, Neil, and I are probably ahead of you in kind of managing the emotion that we're feeling, whereas
Yeah.
you're not yet.
Right.
Say more about that, because that's a really cool piece of this that I think people get really confused about.
Well, there's just so many so much unfinished business. You have to close up shop. You have to say goodbye to your clients and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take care of my clients.
Yeah. While also taking care of yourself. And
Yeah, exactly. And it's very difficult for some of them. A couple of them are like happy. that's no, but it's not. My wife and I have not been able to sit down and say, this is what we're going to miss about the church.
It's
is
just
what we're
happening.
gonna- Yeah, the friends that we've acquired in the last decade. We've been here 10 years, and
well, it's like when you get in a car wreck and you have like adrenaline, right? That adrenaline's pumping through you, or when something crazy happens and you have pumping through with adrenaline, but as soon as you like sit still
That
and your body
de-escalate
calms
state.
down, then you start to realize how much pain you're in and
Yeah.
like what's actually injured, and like
100%.
or
100%.
well, isn't it interesting that we've talked about physiological pain?
analogies.
Yeah, analogies,
Mm-hmm.
because of the trauma of grief,
Mm-hmm.
for example, or grief itself. We tend to want, in our culture, in our society, is to just be very stoic about it, or certain
Never let them see you sweat.
never
Yeah.
right.
Crying's
Calm,
not
cool, and
okay.
collected. Yeah.
Let me be tough about it. Yeah, I remember it was almost a resentment for years. Not really a resentment, but it was like, what are you doing? The first person that died in my life was my grandma. I always say, I love you, Grandma. Can't wait to see her again. But, when she died, it was really amazing because she had an aneurysm, and I was at the foot of the bed, man. And my mom was up there at her ear. My sister was over there on the other side, and my brother was to my right. He couldn't get out of the room fast enough, but he got caught. And she actually flatlined. She died when we were in the room and whatever. Now, I experienced that as beautiful. I just thought it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, as a chaplain,
Yeah.
I've seen that so
Yeah.
many times.
But, he left.
Uh-huh.
We went back to the waiting room or whatever when we were done, and he was gone. I'm like, where's my brother? Like,
So he
where's
truncated it.
He truncated it, man. He said, I was like, he came back finally, and I'm like, where you been, man? And he's like, I just had to go out back, man. I just had to lose it. But,
Yeah.
he really has this thing where he really feels like he has to be strong for the rest of us. And and I was always like, dude, strength is like sharing that with me. Like, I'm a mess over here. Like, where are you?
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Right.
Because there's no right or wrong. He needed to do that.
Yeah.
And I'd learned that later on, a couple of years later.
Yeah, we all handle grief differently.
Yes, say more about that.
Well, I mean, sometimes like you find out something happened or you lose something. Some people's first instinct is to cry hysterically. Other people, it's to punch a hole in the wall because they're so angry. Other people, it's to like run away and isolate themselves. Like our instinct for what we do when we grieve is all different. And that's okay. Like that, and that's the okay part.
Because
Is
there's
like,
definitely no right or wrong.
yeah, that's not a right or wrong answer. And so, yeah, I mean, and then that's where, like, we don't really have the right to judge how other people grieve. And because,
And we have to accept it.
yeah,
Like, I really need no reason for me to be upset with my brother that
Yeah.
day. I was, but there's no reason.
But that's
for me
how
to-
you were reacting in your grief.
Right.
yeah. And just because, like, even then, if you might think you might react a certain way if you were told the same information or you were in the same position, but the truth is you really don't until you're in it.
That's why one of
And-
our three questions, how do you feel when others say things like at least, or, oh, I understand, or, time heals all wounds. Like, these
At least
phrases
they're
are
at
just
peace
so
now.
disconnected.
Okay, well, yeah, but like,
They're disconnected.
Job, you know the book of Job, the story of Job.
He had it rough, brother.
He did. The adversary, which is Satan, was the one, and that's how you pronounced it. But
It's not Satan.
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 Could it be Satan? But
Satan.
yeah, but took his family except for his wife, who complained a lot. He said, she said, "Curse God and die." So, so Satan knew what he was doing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But God said, "You can take anything that he has; he'll keep his faith no matter what. Just don't take his life."
Okay.
And Satan proceeded to take everything. And the only thing that it was a very good thing was he had 3 friends that came in. And now they kind of went off and made some mistakes later on, but they stayed with him for 7 days and didn't say a word. And that's what he needed.
Mm.
And
Just be sat with.
Yeah, just to be sat with. He was with them. With him, right. So I think that's important. I think sometimes you can say too much, and you can, or you try to do euphemisms or bromides or something like that where, he's in a better place. Or
would you like to be alone, or would you like me to sit with you? It's a good question to ask.
Yeah, very valid.
What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do?
Yeah, what do you need in this moment?
And check back later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and that's important.
Check back later.
Check back later, because I've had people tell me, they said, "Well, if there's anything I could do for you, just
you have
let
no
me
idea
know.
in that moment.
Let me know. Just let me know."
Yep.
Well, you don't know what you want,
Right.
So you have, and they resented that. They were upset that they were abandoned, basically.
Mm.
Yeah, there's this episode. You know me, I'm always have a Grey's Anatomy
Oh, okay.
analogy. There's a Grey's Anatomy
well, that's
episode.
better. Is that in tandem with Job? Job and Grey's Anatomy.
There's this episode where Izzy Stevens, one of the main characters, her love interest dies, and when they finally get her home, she just lays on the bathroom floor, and instead of they try to coax
Grief
her.
can be debilitating.
Yeah, they try to get her to get off the floor, but ultimately, her and her group of friends, they just take turns laying on the floor with her.
That's the book.
And
that's
awesome.
awesome.
and they just sit there, they try to help her get up, but they're not they're not sitting there trying to pull her up, come on, Izzy, get up.
Yeah.
They're just
With her.
come on. And she's not saying anything, she's just staying, but they just get on the floor and sit with her, and they kind of just talk, just to kind of be present, and that's okay. That's okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the moment we did talk about it on the show, John. I don't know why. I guess we just made an earlier announcement, but today's the last live show. When you sat on the floor with me when we were moving. We talked about that a few episodes.
See, I must have watched that Grey's Anatomy.
You must have, or you just learned how to be sensible.
Yeah.
Yes. I did 14 funerals when I was in 1979 at my first church.
14.
Believe that.
14 funerals. That was in West Virginia.
That sounds like a lot. Is that a lot?
That is a whole lot.
That's a whole lot? Okay.
For a small church.
Oh.
Yoke church.
And they were all members of your, of the church?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh,
Victoria's small church only has 13 families.
That's right. So that whole church was traumatized. I got to where I was actually watching an open casket, and I thought I saw somebody breathe. It was just like.
Oh, wow.
Come
to.
Yeah.
So there's one other additional thing in this little segment, and we'll get off. But I'm curious if you guys have thought of this either in time. I don't know if it's unique to me, and it's actually only a recent thought that I'm playing around with. Have you ever thought of pre-grieving?
Yes.
Pre-grieving.
Yes.
Okay, so evidently it's not original to me, John.
No,
what do you say, Victoria?
I don't know necessarily if I've thought about it in that way. Sorry, I'm just checking the weather because I thought I heard thunder.
That's random. Come on, focus.
But look, ADHD over here. Okay.
My gosh.
But yeah, I look at pre-grief as more. I'm gonna use death as an example, but okay, someone gets. My pawpaw who died of pancreatic cancer. We knew.
Yeah.
By the time they
coming.
found it, it was that was where we were headed. And so like there is these moments where I kind of think back and I like that time where you know it's coming. Now I don't think you can fully prepare yourself because you don't again you don't know how you're going to act until it happens or till you lose that thing or that person. But is that kind of what you're talking about? Like this
So it is,
like
but
prepping yourself
so I'm going to go with my old thoughts first, John, and then I'm going to add, and we can wrap this up with this concept of pre-grieving, because my old thoughts stopped at very clear, and still, it's going to make me sound like I'm not a subscriber of pre-grieving, but hold on, hear this all the way through. So my thoughts used to stop at you cannot grieve before the loss happens. And that is because there's two parts of your brain. We all know the frontal cortex is the thinker part, and then the hypothalamus is the emotion part. The thinking part of our brain can be abstract. We can reason, we can predict, we can perceive, we could do a lot of things that, you know, before, during, and after events and such even, right? We can imagine things happen. But the emotion is not that way at all. It is only and exclusively in the moment. You're only experiencing the emotion of right now.
Again,
your prefrontal cortex, your thinker, will make you remember or re-go into and do all sorts of things. So there's interplay. But I used to say you can't grieve until it happens.
Okay,
right?
I hear a but coming.
But yeah, but there's a but now because there's pre-grieving where you can think about it when you have these known things, and then also there's like this sort of grieving an event which is actually like a series of events. Divorce is a good example of that. It's not an event. My gosh, there's so many litany line of events, and you're grieving kind of all along
There's
the
different
way.
strings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's almost like this pre-grieving the actual event, right? So
Is it almost like again I'm going to use death again as an example of grief, but like is it almost like, okay, I have a grandmother who's in her like late 80s. Is it like she's not sick or anything, but is it like that thought of like sometimes I think about like what it will be like when
I did that with my dog. I always use that as an example, yeah.
You know, or like yeah, like I know I love my cat and I love my dog, but like they're not going to be here forever because they just don't live as long as we do. So like and I know it's kind of morbid and sad, but like sometimes I find myself thinking about like, well, like what are we going to do? Like how am I going to feel? Like what and I start to think
here's the
through
thing
it
that's important
like,
that's occurring to me. With that thought,
yeah.
right? There's a danger in that.
Right.
And here's what I would maybe perceive the danger. John, it's a bunch of the nuance, right? So you have the knowledge of your grandmother dying and you're imagining that and doing it. Very, very normal, and that is what we're talking about pre-grieving. And you have to really assess, is this, though, potentially very much all of those previously layered grieving experiences that have lots of leftover percentage that you're actually feeling that in preparation for the other. There's mixing there. There's mixing. Is that so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
I buy that.
Yeah.
But I will say this, is that in clinical pastoral education, which is done in hospitals, and they have chaplains that are trained, and there's a behavioral aspect to it, a psychological counseling aspect to it, is that they have the chaplains in training, the interns, write their own funerals and prepare for it. Yeah,
that's not fun.
It's not fun. Have you done that, or
No.
But
there's an
then they
activity
have
or
to
two I've done similar. Yeah.
and contemplate it and think about it. And
Well,
part
they do
of
that in the military all the time. Write your own. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's very emotional.
Yeah, it is. It is. But that's a sense. Or haven't you all ever dreamt that your grandparents or your parents died?
Yes.
I mean,
I woke up crying
Yes.
on several occasions.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that I remember.
That's.
Honestly, but
I think that's pre-grieving.
Yeah.
Probably.
Didn't I tell you that I had that dream one time where I like couldn't find Lil Man. And
you did? Yeah,
and
Lucas,
I like woke up like sobbing
freaking out.
because I like in my dream I like couldn't find my child. It makes me want to cry right now. Like it gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
It was just a dream. Like
yeah, but it's real feeling.
Yeah.
It's emotional.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
So we got a Facebook says Carolyn says good stuff. I really needed it. Oh, absolutely. Hello, Carolyn. We're glad to be there. So let's answer Carolyn in this sort of next segment. Like, what do we do about this? How do we manage grief? What do we do? How do we cope? How do we
Look,
move?
I
Because
know we
you
can't-
got quote unquote normal grief. We've talked about that. Prolonged grief disorder. I think that speaks to the layering, honestly. And then
Yeah.
people talk about disenfranchised or ambiguous grief, and I think that's the pre-grieving stuff.
And
so.
I think, and there's no fixed timeline. I think you've mentioned
Heck
with
no,
the
yeah.
Kubler-Ross.
We haven't mentioned it, but yeah, go.
Yeah, because you can actually be in different stages of grief. The Kubler-Ross model is
What is it? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance.
and it's got,
Ask me though. What
what-
Kubler-Ross is?
Kubler-Ross was
No.
Is that
Ask me.
Okay, who's Kubler-Ross?
She is somebody who got it wrong.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say,
Not wrong.
okay,
at
I
all,
was gonna
but
say, like, my number one thing that I do now is like your grief sheet that you gave me
that go there.
is like
Let me test you. How many of them do you know? We'll play a game because I'm going to do it by memory.
Okay, the first one is
Sorry, go ahead and set it up first.
Okay.
I interrupted
So
you.
Chris has this sheet that I know he didn't create himself. He got it from somewhere else. But it breaks. Okay, so we know the 5 stages of grief, blah, blah, blah. But it breaks it down into more than that. And it gives you questions as kind of like prompts to think through as
The
processing
tasks.
the grief, the task. And the last one is literally like, I can't remember it word for word, but the last one is literally like, continue with your everyday life and start from the beginning whenever you need to. Or something like it's literally go back to the beginning whenever you feel like you're,
Grief previously
Yeah.
on grief
We're
also.
And
we're dropping in and out of those things all the time. don't you
Yeah.
agree?
Absolutely.
And so it's like the
These
first
tasks.
the first one
Yeah.
is like define the loss. And then it's like what is the meaning behind the loss? And then
Another
it's
task.
like I can't remember the more of them, but there's more of them. And
Celebrate
it's like,
the beauty of the
the
bond.
beauty and the loss. And like so it actually
Create
makes
a
it-
ritual.
Yeah, create a ritual. Like
Do
and
it with
it's-
other people's present. Yeah.
Yeah, and it creates more of like so when I use it in therapy, I either like will go through each thing in therapy, or if they're like journaling people, then I might task them with like
Journal
go home.
each task.
Yeah, journal like each one is a prompt that you journal about, or just talk out loud in your car, like go through it. But then the
I
second
feel like a proud parent, John. Like this is awesome.
the second half of the page is like feelings and emotions that you'll experience with grief, and it lists the 5 like anger, depression, but it also lists things like
Confusion.
guilt, confusion. What's another one? It's like, and it states that like remembering that grief is not linear; it is fluid. It is. We are bouncing all up around one day. I'm angry. The next day I'm sad.
All right. It's not so much, and you said Kubler-Ross is wrong.
Yeah,
It's
I was being
no.
silly.
What I'm saying is that she didn't have all the picture.
Right.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
It's not
In
that
fact,
simple.
she's not actually the one that first came up with it. So
Is she not? Who did?
No, I'm not sure, but I read. Yeah,
Bummer.
but she was able to articulate it, and
Google
you know,
that,
she's-
Neil. Who created the stages of grief? I got to know that. I'm sorry, John. I got to
It's
know
okay.
that. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's she.
No, I
was on-
interrupted John.
She was on the right track.
Right.
It's just not as simple as she lays it out to be.
Yeah.
Because even once you get towards acceptance, you still are going to have sad days.
You
You're
revisit.
still going to have angry days where you're like, God, you
Well,
know, and like,
When I have clients that are dealing, let's say, for anxiety, I want to be cured of having anxiety. No,
Yeah.
that's not how it works. You're able to.
We're gonna have a hard time with that one.
Work with this. This is, it's Erickson's stages, developmental stages.
Developmental, yeah.
Yeah. So we fall in and out of those stages as well. I mean,
I think we've learned that. Yeah, it used to be presented pretty linear, but yeah.
it's
not linear.
We're like it's not linear. It's more like a cycle, and you go up and you improve, and sometimes you recapitulate and you go over the same things over and over again. But each stage you're able to accomplish something.
Taking more energy out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Victoria. Thank you. You did a wonderful job. I'm so awesome
Thanks.
because I presented that to her because I had found that at a conference. You
Yeah.
know, I found that at a conference for chronic relapsing and addiction, and they
I believe it.
presented this grieving process,
I-
and I use it all the time now.
it's like Bible in
It's
my
really
therapy sessions.
Viva.
Anyone
Because
who sees me knows.
Well, it's just
They
'cause
probably have this if we've talked about grief at some
it's
point.
just
Yeah,
fundamentally
bibliothèque.
different. It's the difference between going through stages in the linear way and then having tasks to accomplish.
Well, and I just like that it gives you a different way of thinking about it. Like, and it kind of forces you to confront these things. Like, what is the beauty in the loss? How are we defining the loss? Like, how can we create a ritual? Like, how can we continue to live our lives and not let this thing be the thing that weighs us down and not let us let us continue on in our life?
in any order.
Yeah.
In any order.
Any order.
Right. So what else? Let's move on. So what else do we do
All right.
to manage grief? What are you going to be knee deep in, John? How are we managing
I mean,
this?
this sounds obvious, but allowing yourself to feel. If you want to cry, freaking cry. You know. Now I will add, like, do it safely. Like, if you're going down 85, going 90 miles an hour, please don't be boohoo crying because you probably can't see. So please pull over and then have your tears and then continue on your route to wherever you're going. But yeah. Feel your feelings. If you get angry, feel the anger, but be safe about it.
Let me ask the woman a question.
Okay, I want to go to
Go ahead.
something after this.
Oh,
Okay,
What?
go ask her.
The woman question I have is it true that women feel they can cry or that they're not allowed to cry? Because men are told we're not allowed to cry.
I
think
mean,
there's a
yeah,
myth.
some women do. They're like that. I'm like, you know what?
Right?
It's not your
That's-
business. Don't. If I want to cry, just let me cry.
My point is that this is not a guy problem. This is a human problem that
Yeah.
we don't allow ourselves to feel.
Yeah.
Women also.
Yeah. No.
Okay, when I was at that same church with the 14 deaths, I had another one that she died of having her esophageal varices. In other words,
Oh,
she
yeah. Ooh, that's
literally
bad.
she was.
Ugh.
They found
Basically suffocate, right?
suffocated.
Yeah.
From the blood that from the erosion of the blood, bled to death, and she had chronic alcoholism, and she had 5 children, and they were all under the age of 12. And on top of that, her husband didn't support her or the kids. He was a very wealthy dentist. Anyway, so I'm driving to Roanoke, Virginia, from West Virginia, to
Best state in the union.
right, the best state in the union, the Mountaineers. Yeah, and I got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was just so angry and filled with grief and rage, and I went and I just pulled off the road, and I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Soul scream.
Soul scream.
Oh,
I
man.
love a good scream.
So, yeah, and I was grieving.
Yeah.
I was grieving for those kids. I was grieving for her. Her mother said, "Oh, she just had liver cancer." Her mother enabled her as well with the alcoholism. But that was a very difficult time for me because I just was overwhelmed. I'm feeling it right now.
You're feeling it right now is the percentage that's left, and it's less than that, but it goes from a soul scream
Still there though.
all the way down to it's okay. Like you're not losing your mind right now, but you really do feel it. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a powerful. It really comes in waves,
does.
and man, them waves can be tsunamis, brother.
Yeah, I was just I noticed on one of the notes it said 12 months for normal grief. I think what's normal is normal for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
yeah,
other
for
words,
100%.
so there's some people that have grieved for 18 months, 2 years. It seems to be I don't think that's abnormal necessarily. I think when it gets much longer than that, it can be.
So, I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of curiosity I feel like people have very strongly when you get into this. It's kind of like, how long is this going to last? People want to know, what is the
Oh
deal?
yeah.
And you know what I tell people? I wonder if you guys what you guys say. But I don't, obviously, there is no time. There's no right or wrong. There's no time frame. Everybody's different. But I like to give people some guidance. And I think it's fair to give guidance that it's measured not by days, obviously, or weeks, but not by years either. The measurement tool is months. And that might be 19 months or 12 months or 7 months, but it's really measured in months. Sometimes it'd be pretty quick, 3-4 months, even with big losses, by the way, y'all. There's not really any reason why it has to be years.
And there's the two concepts of time. One's the Greek, the chronos is time, which is chronological time, 12 months. And then there's kairos, which is eternal time.
Oh, I don't understand kairos.
Okay, well, we experience that transcendent moments when you say, yeah, it all makes sense and all of that. So I would say that good grief enables you to tap in not on the chronos time, but on the kairos time, which is the fullness of time in which there is that true healing that takes place. Okay.
Wow, that's cool.
So I get all religious and philosophical on you.
Well, that's Greekology. I mean, listen, we have had the human emotional experience, which we endeavor to figure out together. I don't think I said that in the grand opening.
I don't think you did.
No,
That's a first, Victoria.
And we didn't do a 5-star review either.
Yeah.
That's a first. Well, I got distracted with the big news, man.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I think one thing that is important to say for as far as like coping and things, and I know, Chris, that you have said this many times before, is that we're not making any big decisions.
Yes.
No major decisions in the space of that. Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting. And I wonder how often y'all get this, but I've had quite a handful of clients who have talked about, and it's usually not them. It's usually like they're talking about like a parent or someone, but like they lose a parent, and then their parent that's still around is like married to somebody else within like 2 months.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
something.
boy. Yeah.
Or you know, it's like a quick turnaround, and then you're like,
What?
did you not even like what?
Well, and part of
But
that.
be careful about judging, though.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not judging, but I think that sometimes it's hard for the people that are sitting on my couch to understand.
100%.
Like, why would this person who was married for 35 years or whatever, like, lose
I've seen that
you know?
more, and I will say this is generalization, but with men don't last very long without a lot of
partner?
time without a partner. And so
I will
part
say
of
it
that,
is mainly husbands for
right.
my clients.
The
so,
other
yeah.
and the other aspect of that is just that people have to they have to really be able to sit back and go with the grief. They have to feel it and experience it, and to feel that emptiness, and refill themselves in ways. I think that's why we've kind of gotten away from that. We don't like death very much. The Victorians loved it, but we don't.
Oh, it is a avoided topic.
It's
yeah,
avoided.
100%.
And now we just say,
Not avoided, voided, as I say.
voided. Yeah.
Yeah, we just like to avoid it, which is not realistic. Listen, kissing cousins, grief and depression. I've said 1,000 times, what's enemy number one to depression? Isolation. Well, what do you think enemy number one to grief is?
Isolation.
You do not want to go through grieving alone. No. Right?
Right.
That is a bad idea.
So the rituals are good. Like putting like with some Jewish folks, they put the
Lighting candles.
candy and
Going
covering their mirrors. And,
going to the grave to put flowers like once a week or at some
These are
some
rituals
periodical
year
time.
after year after
Yeah.
year. You continue to do this process. You know, my dear friend Adrian lost his son, Cody. Goodness gracious, it's been like 5 years now, and so we have gone and done a balloon release. He calls it his Heaven Day, you know, and so we do a balloon release and we celebrate Cody's birthday, and they have people come over every year. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
celebration of life.
It's a celebration of life, truly, as they say. But and we you know, we always have pizza. Cody's food was pizza, and it's awesome. I'm so honored to be a part of that ritual, to be there for my friend.
So you were a true friend. So you got down on the floor with Adrian, like
100%. Adam or
Adam.
Aaron Clark, my buddy Aaron. Sorry,
I'm sorry.
My kids' names are mixed up in all this. Aaron and Adam, they're all the same. But what else we need to cover?
Um,
Mindfulness. We talked about the rituals thing. You mentioned the decisions. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we go into kind of trying to manage and deal with. These losses throughout time, and I really feel like. Commenting really about the hopelessness that people can feel. I mean, people get into desperate spaces with this stuff. They really do. It's like
I'm wondering, can we truly be a human, fully human, without having experienced grief?
Probably not.
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
because grief
don't think we
goes
can.
beyond the bounds of just death. So then, yeah.
Well, it's yeah. Well, I mean,
Because I do.
I think a better way of putting that maybe, John, is grief a universal experience for humans? It's the same thing, and yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2-year-old, 3-year-old is not part of the group yet. When you get that first hit. Well, I think I know where you're going. Correct me. You're right. Go ahead.
Sorry, I've gone away from my mic. Losing your favorite toy.
Oh,
Things break.
okay.
That's where I was. Where's your mind
Very.
going?
You know where mine went immediately when you said that?
What?
This is going to be crazy. Holy crap. Okay. Psychologists need to study this somehow. This is weird. Never had this thought. Do babies grieve losing the womb?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Huh?
There's
What's Neil say? They cry.
Yeah.
They cry when they come out.
I mean, they can't cognitively make
but
sense
grief
of
is
it.
an experience.
Yeah.
But that was rebirthing that was very in vogue back in the 1970s.
Well, even
Well, okay.
things
good,
like
good.
breastfeeding.
Go further, John.
Well, that was where people would have difficulties in their lives with addiction, or let's say in terms of being antisocial, and so what they wanted to do was, and by that I mean therapists and quacks, who is that we're going to rebirth the person, we're going to wrap them up in swaddling and have them go through
flood the experience
after several days.
Yeah. Which is kooky. So I'm not going obviously that far, and I know this isn't an original idea, obviously, as you just pointed out. But so I don't think that we can extrapolate, dysfunction and whatever later on in life from simply being born. But I think it is really part of the natural emotional process that you engage, that you're kind of inherently possess in the womb.
Yeah.
And you probably grieve leaving the womb.
Well, I mean, one could
You at
could
least have a
argue
physical response
that that's the Garden of Eden. We all want to go back in the womb. It's innocence, and we want to have innocence restored.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And we wouldn't have to worry about death and think about it, or our own demise.
Yeah.
Or
all right,
demise of loved ones.
So we have the shrink wrap up, I think. Closing up thoughts. We need to wrap up with this. Grief does suck, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just sucks.
My closing thought is.
So are we going to the shrink wrap up?
Yeah, I guess so.
Victoria Bangin, go.
Yeah. Don't say that.
What? Oh, banging? That's bad?
No, that just took me a second to recover
Okay,
from.
sorry.
No, I mean, grief sucks. Like, don't be alone. You don't have to do it alone. I mean, go to therapy if you need to. Talk to somebody.
Go
work
to your
through
clergyman.
it. Yeah, go to a clergy. Go to whatever, and work through it. Don't let it just simmer down. Don't push it down, because then it's only going to be worse later on.
Okay. Grief sucks. Shrink wrap up. John, you or I?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Grief is a natural process. It's a human experience. It's when I think that we become fully human, in the sense we go through, we are in the process of becoming human all our lives, and grief is a natural part of that. And as we work with it and not avoid it, we embrace it. We don't have to like it, but we always are able, as a result of it, can benefit from it.
All right. I think my shrink wrap up is going to be, look, I love that we talked about this being a universal human experience, and it really is. It is one of desperate dread and despair and hopelessness that really kicks in. Grief is a kissing cousin to depression, and that is a dark, dark place that we don't want you to be alone, and we want you to know and understand that with this human emotional experience that we all universally have, that you do have agency, you do have things that you can do, you will get through it. This does end, even measured by months, if that helps you to get through the tougher times, because it comes in waves. But really and truly, you got this. You got this.
You got it.
I gotta keep in mind, John's not leaving us. He will be back, so I can't give him like the pity win just because he's
Yeah.
Okay.
leaving. So
No pity win for John.
I love them all. I think Chris's was the best. I like the emphasis on the time that it is months. It's not days. It
Yeah.
does take time to heal. So,
No, I would agree.
but I think John's was second with universal experiences. Honestly, you guys were all great, but I think I like Chris's wrap up at the end. And now John's mad at me.
No, I'm not. I want you to take my rowing machine.
It is. He's going to kick his rowing machine back.
Goodness
All right, I'm going
gracious.
to end this show with something cool that I've kind of gotten away from. When I have guests on the show, I used to make a big deal out of. Now it's gotten more virtual and, whatever. But there was a moment when I was a kid, an insecure kid, struggling with the divorce years and all that kind of stuff. And this kid looked at me, and when we were bussing tables, and he was like, I felt like he was a cool kid. I really had a lot of respect for this kid. He was really neat. His name was Shmoo. That was his nickname. And he gave me
Wow.
a high five, John.
Okay.
He gave me a high five. And I was like, wow, how cool is that? So when I have live guests and I have somebody sharing their story and sharing their thing, I used to like to do. I haven't done it for ever,
Well-
Neil, have I? It's been a long time, hasn't it? So I'm about ready to give you a high five in signification of, like, look, it's a special moment. Thank you for sharing. You're with us. That's what it means.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah,
Good
thank
job,
you.
guys.
All right.
Ready,
Well,
break.
we get to keep you. Stay well. We'll see you next week. We'll be live on the mics one more time with Victoria and I and maybe somebody, and then we'll see you in Florida, brother.
That's
Yeah.
right. You'll see me in Florida. Sunshine State.
Take care. Stay well.
Bye,